Thank you for staying with us. Government and security agencies in Southwest states have intensified security measures around government structures and institutions in response to recent disruption attempts by Yoruba Nation agitators. The police command has paraded about 21 suspected members of the Yoruba Nation agitators who invaded the Oyo State Secretariat in Ibadan last Saturday. They were paraded alongside several exhibits recovered from them at the state headquarters in Ibadan. TVC News senior reporter Olaide Oyewole has details.
It's 3 days after suspected members of the Yoruba Nation secession group invaded the Oyo State Secretariat in Agodi. They attempted to seize power from the government after hoisting their flag. After engaging in a gun battle with security personnel, the suspects were arrested and are now being paraded by the police and are to face prosecution for their actions. The Commissioner of Police described the act as criminal and unpatriotic and assured residents of Oyo the police's unwavering commitment to protecting their lives and property.
While declaring this act as criminal, unpatriotic, and a clear case of treasonable felony and terrorism to be met with adequate sanctions through purposeful prosecutions, the command reassures the good people of Oyo State that it remains solidly unwavering to the protection of their lives and property as constitutionally required by the laws of the land.
He asked parents to prevail on their children against being used as agents to cause chaos in the state.
As a parent, I enjoy other parents, guardians, and leaders in every sphere of political, religious, and social influence to prevail on their children, words, protests, and followers against being used by unpatriotic individuals to promote anarchy in the state and by extension, the nation.
Alabi Ogundeji, one of the suspects, is a teacher at the Federal Government College, Oyo. For him, there is no going back in the attainment of their independence, as they have the backing of the appropriate international bodies.
We are indigenous people of Yoruba. We are in Yoruba land, and that is why we have done that. And we have done all the legal activities and procedures that need to be done.
So who granted you the sovereignty?
The United Nations, of course, and the Charter of the United Nations, the African Union, the ECOWAS Court, and EU.
Are there documents to support all
Yes,
this?
we have all documents.
This 75-year-old and his daughter said they were introduced to the group with promises of a better life after achieving their so-called independence. Items recovered from the suspects include guns, live cartridges, cutlasses, paraphernalia of various offices with Yoruba Nation inscriptions, among others. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
Right, joining us in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Kenny Adenugba. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good to be here this morning.
Now, when you look at the response of some of those who participated in this act that we just reported, one of them, a lecturer, I think over 50 years old, said he does not regret participating in this, that it is the right thing for him to do. And another one who is said to be a phone repairer also said he does not regret doing this. And then the lady said she was promised that she will be taken care of. Let me use that word. However, in the papers this morning, the woman said to be the sponsor is, there's a manhunt for her, and she is said to be the late Moshood Abiola's widow, so to speak. But if you interpret what is going on, one would expect that someone who is a lecturer would know how to situate things, and you wonder what he could have been told to believe that this is the way to address certain issues as against the other persons who might not be as educated as he is. So just as you are analyzing how you interpret all of this, let's look at also the people involved.
Would you want to say that everyone that went to school or that actually is within the tertiary environment as either lecturer or whatever are endowed with wisdom, or actually are strategic minded? They're different things. We must ask ourselves. We've seen people who are even at the highest level of the academia, and religion made them to look like No, they wouldn't even know what they're doing. They fight over religion, they fight over ethnicity, they fight over the mundane thing, so to say. So it's not that this person is a lecturer or has been within the academic environment. That's what actually equates to being strategic-minded or being wise. Or because sometimes people will think that they're doing what is right. But the question is, even if you have something, if you have a reason for doing what you're doing, what reason and what do you aim to achieve out of it? Do you think that your route, the way you're going about it, will yield the desired result? They're two different things. You may even have something that is an agitation that is right if you want to think about it from your own perspective. But how you go about it says a lot. Even at home, children will have certain rights to ask certain things, but how do they go about asking for it? So that is one thing for me. As far as those people are concerned, whether this is a phone repairer, whether this is a lecturer of 50 years standing or whatever it may be, the fact remains that some people are misled, and also people also don't know what really should be done. If you have grievances, if you have issues, there are ways to express them. There are ways to come out with them. But you see, they say Yoruba Nation agitation, and they've been denied by the public face, so to say, of the agitation, so to say. And I'm talking of the Alano Odua of Ilano Odua people. That's Professor Banji Akitoye. Sunday Igboho has also said, no, they're not part of this. They don't know what is going on here. And a certain woman, so to say, was mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Madam Mudupe Onitiri, right?
Abiola.
Well, the Abiola thing there, for me, it's unfortunate that the great NKO's name would be dragged into this in any way, because that's not what he stood for. That's not what he stood for. And he never would stand for follies and such pedestrian approach to resolving issues. So in a way, most of the time when this happens, I'd rather not even mention his name or his surname in this regard, because this person is acting independently. And you want to ask questions, where are the families? How has he related with everybody around him for this to be happening? She's not around, I believe. I mean, if she's in Nigeria today, I'm sure that she probably would have been arrested. So somebody is away and sending other people, just like we have with Simon Ekpa. Yeah. And what have you, when they will be away enjoying and they're sending people. Where I come from, they said, it's another person's child that you send on an errand of folly. So if you really want to be there, if you really believe in this, why don't you sit down? Somebody on the platform yesterday was raising this and going all over. I said, sorry, you're there in UK, in the United Kingdom. I thought that you'll be part of these people. The way you're talking, you should have flown down to be part of this. The question is, on what basis are you doing what you're doing? What is motivating you? Is it that, yes, I mean, if you say that, oh, some people from certain places are coming to into your forest, the government is doing a whole lot of stuff in that regard. The forest guards are coming back, and the security is being considered. The security architecture, so to say, for the Southwest is being considered. Amotekun is also doing a lot. And just a few months ago, maybe like 2 months or thereabout, the entire Yoruba Obas had a summit in Ile-Ife, with the Oni of Ife, and to look at a whole number of things. So in a way, on what basis will anybody now come out to say, oh, you want? And then the pedestrian approach, the thoughtlessness behind all of these things actually appalls me. Because you think that, okay, fine, it's one state seat of government that you want to go into, and you think that actually already takes care of. I think people sometimes could be, maybe they are hallucinating. Maybe people are, I don't know what is motivating and what makes some people believe that, oh, if we're able to get the parliament seat in Ibadan, then we have our freedom. And then I watched a number of things. Even one man, Omo Kore, who is talking and saying that, oh, he's the, what he says is the interim, whatever it may be. And I'm looking and I'm saying, this is totally Zadadash. And I'm asking myself, are people high on something? If they're not high on something, then nobody in his right senses will think that this is a way to go about it. And we see what's happened with Kanu.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still in
Does
incarceration.
that mean we are not learning lessons?
People are either not learning lessons or are just deceiving themselves and under certain measure of delusion that I can't even explain.
Maybe there is more to it than meets the eye, because
Right.
if you look at the way things actually started off in 2009 with the issue of Muhammad Yusuf, the Boko Haram agitation and all of that, everything always boils down to, okay, we want our own self-determination, marginalization, etc.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Samuel Ekpa, who is also the prime minister of the so-called independent people of Biafra.
In diaspora.
In the diaspora. and that, causing death on his own people that he said he's even fighting, on behalf. And now we are seeing this in a region where is, predominantly peaceful, sense of peace in the Southwest. Do you not feel that there is more to it that meets the eyes? Maybe these people connect some way, somewhere, or there is something.
And they were just testing the waters, perhaps.
Exactly. And there's something probably we're not exactly reading.
Yeah, you see, where I come from, they say that the fungi, or what you call the amoeba or whatever, parameter, whatever it is that actually is on the water, that is flowing.
Euglena, amoeba.
Yeah, and what have you, all the algae. If you see them floating, something is happening beneath. There is so the English will call it the iceberg principle, which is whatever you see on the surface, there is more beneath actually. So we know. That's what they say where I come from. And I just mentioned that in English. Now, the issue here is this. We're not unaware or mindful of the fact that there will be forces working behind the scene to ensure that the possibility or the probability of peace in the Southwest be truncated. More so when you have a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from the Southwest as well. So in a way, to be like, okay, let's see how he will deal his people. That's one. Secondly, some people actually don't want it to be peaceful because they are not peaceful. Where they are is not peaceful. So they actually, what they are chewing is actually not very palatable for them. So they don't want to be the only one to chew that. They will rather spread it across to people. We've seen cases of mindsets like that. Oh, I'm not going to die alone. I'm also going to make sure that other people catch the virus or whatever. So in a way, it's like catch the virus as well. So, but they forgot that they're dealing with a set of people who are more sophisticated in their own way. And they have their ethos as Yoruba people. The Omoluabi ethos and principles will not make us to generally hide people who are doing evil.
That's right.
Some other people, some other environments may choose to support, generally, either that they support, outrightly or tacitly by not saying anything. But among the Yorubas, we do not condone such. We will tell you, you know what you're doing is wrong. And we're not going to be a party to that. And you can see the entire nation, of Yoruba people coming out to say, you know what, this is totally out of order. We're not part of it. We're not subscribing to this. And we cannot allow anybody to tamper with the relative peace, harmony, and serenity that we enjoy in the Southwest. It has helped our economy. At the same time, we've seen influx of people from other regions coming in because it's relatively peaceful. So what happens if the Southwest burns? We're not going to allow that. Nobody will. The governors will not allow it. At the same time, the president will also not allow it. The security forces will not allow it. And the people themselves understand the way it is. Like I said, in some places, Yorubas are not the kind of people that you will push into just anything. We had opportunity to burn down the nation if we wanted to during the June 12 debacle, so to say. But the Yorubas actually had their own ways around things. We believe more in diplomacy. That's where we have soft power. Our own soft power is more of diplomacy and strategic approach to issues just than rushing into things. We'd rather find ways to unknot those knotty issues to make sure, so that we can, at the end of the day, be able to achieve what we want to achieve. Now, what we're looking at here, what they're doing is actually, like I said, they may have their reasons for whatever it is they want to do, but they're going about it the extremely wrong way.
Right.
That's the truth. They're going about it the wrong way, totally. And
but they said, according to them, that let me just quote what they said. Our leadership went to all Yoruba-speaking states to serve official letters written by our leaders, and we were given our copy. After that is proclamation, declaration, occupation, and notification to the world that Yoruba is an indigenous nation. I am wondering who they served these letters to, who collected them, and how it is that there was no prior intervention or conversation before all of this happened. And that's also talking about the handling matters like this. If you recall, there was a time that Southeast leaders were being accused of not handling issues that had to do with the people in a manner that was in the interest of the people. And they said that they were not being transparent enough and all of it. My question is, how should the Southwest leaders begin to look into these matters now when they have said that some persons were served letters? I think it's high time we begin to look at the root of the matter and not just deal with the surface.
Well, I think they need to mention those to whom letters were served. That's one thing. Because when you say served letters, who?
Which of the states?
Which of the states? How many of the governors received letters that you want to do what? That you want to unseat them, or that you want to declare? Let us understand one thing. The Yoruba as a people, as a race, is a nation on its own. When you say nation, we're not talking about in the context of a country. But you have ethnic nationalities. That is clear. We all know there are ethnic. You have the Ijaw ethnic nationalities, you have the Igbo ethnic nationalities, you have the Igala ethnic nationalities, you have the Hausa, you have the Birom, they are all ethnic nationalities in their own regard. So the issue of, and they are indigenous, so nobody should come and use semantics to confuse us. They are indigenous ethnic nationalities. So there's nothing about, you want to declare yourself as an indigenous nationality. That one is already given. However, what you are asking for is not, is not possible. If there's going to be a separation of, let's also look at, if there's going to be a separation of ethnic nationalities, maybe you now have a Yoruba people standing on their own, this one, there must be a referendum. That is, there are conventions to these things.
For them, they said they went through the process.
Which process?
That's what I just read.
I'm a Yoruba man. Did I vote in any referendum? Was any referendum declared that the federal government approved, and what have you?
None. You didn't even see any jingle. Or
was there any announcement on TVC or any other place that says, okay, fine, we've given deadline that we're going to do this or want to do that? At the same time, that's why I said that even which Yoruba leaders were they talking about? Are they talking of Professor Banji Akintoye? Did they receive any letter from them? The Afenifere leaders, did they receive any letter from anybody? The Yoruba Council of Elders, who gave them any letter? The governors, who are the political leaders of the Southwest today, did they receive any letter? The APC, the PDP chairman in the Southwest, did they receive any letter? So did the president receive any letter either? So in a way, I think all those things are just...
The constituted authority they actually want to do away with, because some are also blaming the likes of Emeritus Professor Adebanji Akintoye. They're blaming Sunday Igboho, they're blaming Ibagani Adams, Bode George, etc., accusing them of engendering something like this to have happened because of their own utterances, back in the day, in their advocacy for the Yoruba nation.
Yeah, I agree with you in a way. I'll agree with you in a way. At the beginning of some of these things, I got called into a few meetings, and I saw a few things. I saw what was going to happen along the line, and I pulled out and said, you know what, this is not for me. Not because I don't understand what they wanted to achieve, but I saw the approaches, and I told myself, this is not the way. One of the things I'll tell anybody is this, and that's why we're talking about restructuring. Restructuring would help to resolve a number of things. And all these agitations can easily be taken care of. Now, when you look at somebody propounds a theory, he calls it the Orange Union, the kind of union you have in the United Kingdom, where you have the Welsh, the Scots, the Irish, and the English. In their own way, the United Kingdom is a country, but you have these nations who have their own parliament, like we used to have in the olden days of the Western region, the Eastern region, where each region had their own parliament, had their own high commissions and what have you. So in a way, that's in Nigeria. We can talk about such Orange Union, which is a measure of having some measure of regional control over certain things. But that comes via the law, the restructuring, which we're talking about, that state police, you have this, you have that. That has to come through a process, which an act of the National Assembly will have to bring about. So there are ways to go about some of these things.
And that is why I asked earlier, how should leaders within the Southwest handle this matter?
This particular matter. Now, how should leaders manage this matter? One, good enough Afenifere had come out to condemn this.
Is that enough in itself?
No, it's not. It may not be enough in itself, but at least let people know that the leadership of the South, of the Yorubas, are not in consonance with this. They're not in agreement with this. Number one. Number two, you see, for us, as Yoruba people, some of the things, particularly leaders, what matters is not about, you don't say everything that you want to do. The strategy will not make you to come out and be talking about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and what have you. There are certain things you will not talk about, but you will work on that behind the scene, to achieve what you want to achieve relative peace in Southwest is something that the leaders are also looking at, I believe. Talking with people in government, talking to the political leaders, and saying, okay, how do we manage this, and how do we ensure that whatever is going on today does not become a major or critical albatross for the Southwest and for the nation. So some of those things are not things that you will come out to. They're not things that people will come out to the media and be let me use the word blabber, so to say. I've seen some other leaders in some other environments come out and begin to talk. Sometimes the sense of responsibility and that sense of wisdom that I found among our people, our leaders, will not make them to just be talking anyhow. Yoruba says something. Where I come, they said the name you want to the name you want to give your child is within you.
Right.
At the right time, you come out and say this is what we're doing. But so in a way, you take time to do what you want to do, and you can see just immediately after that, they busted a particular environment where they got all manner of things. The question is, how do they bring those things in? That's another question.
That's a bigger question.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap this conversation up now because our time says so. Thank you so much.
But on the last note, those people who are perpetrating this must be brought to book.
Absolutely.
And actually dealt with the hands of the law.
Public Affairs Analyst Kenny Adenuba, thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you for having me around.
All right. This is where we draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the Ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folari. Do stay safe. Bye for now.